Good afternoon, everybody. We're glad to have you all back. Welcome to another episode of Cigar Store Idiots. I am Rob. I got Andrew, Tyler.
How's it going?
What's going on?
And I want to go ahead and introduce our special guest tonight, Mr. Barry Caudle.
Caudle.
Yes, sir. Caudle. All right. Sorry. I apologize.
Okay.
We're going to kind of get into a couple of things. Everybody's been asking me about this episode. They want to know when the paranormal guy's coming in. So here he is. He's here tonight in the flesh. Not in the spirit. He's in the flesh. He's actually here.
I'm excited.
So, yeah, we're super excited about it. Before we get into that, let's talk about the Braves. Andrew.
Yes, I said that they wouldn't make it out of the first round, and that was partly my ignorance.
I tried to tell him.
I didn't know it was just a 3-game series. I mean, best out of 3.
Well, thank God.
So I'm comfortable with their number 1 and number 2. But, of course, I still didn't think they would pitch that lights out either way. But I felt good about 3-game series. Now, they carried that over again into this series.
They did.
But, we're past those 2 now. So let's see what Wright does tomorrow. I have confidence they'll finish
now,
off.
This one's best of 5.
Finish. It is.
Yeah, so we got best of 5 with a fish.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. So we're going to see Wright tomorrow, and this is where it starts getting a little scary for me.
Let me tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of when we made a run to the World Series and we played against Minnesota. Yep. We had a lot of young pitching. We had some great offense. We just had young pitching.
Yep.
So, to me, I'm going to say it here. We may be looking at a pitching stable just as strong as the one we had when we made that run for 14 championships in a row. Well,
and our pitching staff should be stronger than it is, but with the injuries and, was it Cole Hamels? He didn't work out.
He did not work out.
He didn't work out. And, and a lot of that was injury, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And, of course, he could have been used up as well. But, with the injury of the Canadian kid.
Soroka,
that's a bummer because that would have been one hell of a 3 pitchers to throw at somebody. With the way Ian's come on, what is he, 22?
Oh, it's unreal.
He's
what
22.
This kid's doing. This kid's lights out right now.
He's 22 years old and he's shutting down playoff baseball.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Well, I think I heard today, I was watching the game, and they said he's thrown 300-something innings in the minor leagues.
Oh.
So he's got the experience.
Yeah.
But he's not intimidated at all by playoff baseball.
No,
it's
dude,
amazing.
He is. He's he's got ice water in his veins.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
And that's the kind of thing I think's been the piece that they've needed is Ian Anderson. I really believe that.
Oh, I do too. Especially with, Soroka going down and Ian stepping in. I mean, where would we be at if Ian didn't step in?
Yeah, we'd probably be looking on the outside and looking in.
It's not good, yeah.
I'll tell you this, and I'm going to say this too. I feel like Trevor Bowers, he's doing a little nestling up to the Braves organization right now on Twitter. So I would love to see that. I mean, that guy, say whatever you want about his moxie or his being arrogant or whatever, but man, he's a hell of a pitcher.
I don't have a problem with arrogance if you could back it up.
Yeah,
then it's just confidence.
And he can do it.
Right.
He can do it. So.
I have no problem with that, but you better back it up.
I didn't realize he was 6'7".
This guy.
I said he was 6'7".
Beast.
Yeah, he is, and he.
When he lets go of the ball, it's almost in the catcher's hand anyway.
Exactly.
I mean, he does look like he has a 30-inch shoe.
Yeah,
because those look like a pair of
he's
boats.
halfway there already.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, but
Right.
Tyler knows. When you pitch, and Tyler's long and he's kind of long, lanky. You let the ball go. I mean, it's pretty much almost there.
Yeah.
With tall guys like that,
It's an advantage. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something else. We'll get away from baseball, but I'm saying Braves going ahead, sweeping the fish.
We could talk baseball for an hour. I'm good with it.
Yeah, no kidding. Me too. But
I could too, to be honest with you.
I'm afraid we're going to get our hearts broke in L.A. again.
Yeah, me too. LA,
they're just so freaking good.
God,
but
they're good.
our guys are confident. We got some confidence.
They are confident, but a 7-game series scares me after our first 2 guys. And if one of those guys slips up and has a loss, well, let's say that they still pitch a good game of only giving up 2 runs, and the hitting lets off that day, and we take one of those losses. A 7-game series really scares me.
If we get past the Dodgers, we win the World Series.
Oh, no doubt.
No doubt.
We win the World Series.
I agree 100%.
Although I will say the Rays are really good.
The Rays are good.
The Yankees ain't going to make it past Tampa Bay.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either.
I don't either.
Well, I saw this a couple of weeks ago, and it's just I forgot to bring it to the table. But back in the day, I love Stallone. I'm a big Stallone fan, and one of his movies he put out a long time ago, was Cobra. If you haven't seen Cobra,
I knew you were going there.
you that's your homework. Everybody listening, go watch Cobra.
What was her name? Bridget Nielsen.
Bridget Nielsen. Yeah,
Bridget Nielsen. Yeah.
So go watch Cobra. But what I heard was somebody's going to pick this thing up and do a series. I don't know if it'll be Netflix. Probably be Netflix.
Probably. They get everything now.
With Cobra Kai having such a humongous following, such success out of that, we're digging back into these older movies, action movies, and Netflix. It's a moneymaker. I wish I could put it together.
So they're making series out of Cobra or the Karate Kid.
Well, the Karate
Kid's already there. It's called Cobra Kai.
It's called Cobra Kai,
and it's fantastic.
But
I've heard of that.
yeah, oh, you gotta
watch Cobra Kai.
watch it.
It is the worst fight scenes you will ever see.
Except for the last one. No spoilers. Somebody's paralyzed.
Oh,
Sorry.
Well, good God. But all I'm saying is that it's not good, but you can't stop watching.
okay.
Yeah,
Has anybody watched Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
no.
Man,
Get
it's
outta
a
here.
classic.
Get out of
dude.
here.
It's a great
Get outta-
movie.
Ooh,
Can you name the star in that movie?
No.
Then it sucks.
Yeah, there you go. You heard it. Hey,
Oh man.
that's how I'm going to rate every movie I watch from now on. If you can't name the main person there, it ain't worth watching.
That's
the
not
good-
entirely wrong. I mean,
The good thing about the Cobra Kai, though, you haven't seen it. They actually bring back the real characters of the movie.
Oh, okay.
All the guys from Cobra Kai, the original Cobra Kai, are there in the movie.
Ralph Macchio.
Except for Mr. Miyagi.
Mr. Miyagi's
he's
dead,
dead.
but they're all the same. It's fantastic.
Okay.
It is just fantastic.
It's on Netflix?
It is.
I'll check that out.
It is, and there's 2 seasons.
Well, I
And
need to go back
there's-
and watch from the beginning.
You got to watch
Yeah, you
season
gotta-
one.
yeah, watch season one,
Yeah,
yeah.
you got to start from season 1. There's only 2 seasons.
Okay.
But there is going to be a season 3.
Okay.
So, Stallone's movie Cobra.
yeah, back to that.
No,
Sorry.
you're good. Stallone's movie Cobra is going to be made into a series,
Same thing.
and it's going to be way better than Cobra Kai. So
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
So is Stallone in it?
I doubt it. It'll probably be a younger version of that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Was
But they could bring
Moretti?
him. They could have him like a drunk somewhere, and he gets recruited to come back.
No, that's Cobra. that's Cobra Kai. So it's
Yeah, but that was good. Johnny makes
Johnny makes the show. He
Johnny
does.
makes Cobra Kai. He's awesome.
He does. Okay. Well, without further ado, I've been saying that a lot here lately too. There's another
Without
for
further-
your drinking game. Here, yep. You hear Tyler go. You hear Andrew say.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
Or you hear me say, without further ado, take a drink, take a shot. So,
Yeah.
Barry, I want to know, give us your title, and I want to know a little bit about you, and I want to know how you got started in this wild, paranormal, ghost hunting, ghost chasing thing you're doing. We're all intrigued by it. We've been waiting for this.
Okay.
so.
Well, there's always a lot of people intrigued by what we do. I have been around for 50 years now. I am 50 years of age, and I've always had an interest in ghosts and Bigfoot and UFOs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's always been a big draw for me. I can remember as a kid going to the library, and instead of renting out, a philosophy book or a history book, I would be renting out the ghost book or the Bigfoot ghost, stuff
Yeah.
like that. I've always loved it. So as the older I got, the more interested I would get in it. And I actually had an experience in my home. I won't go into great details about it, but it really got me to the point to where I just felt like I needed to figure out what is going on. Okay.
So you had a ghost encounter?
I had a ghost encounter. Yes.
Oh no, you got to tell us.
Can we
Well-
get into that?
Well, me and my wife were sitting in our living room,
Yeah.
on the couch watching TV, and my oldest boy was probably 6 or 7 years of age, and he was in the bed. He was asleep. This is about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and we see something go from his bedroom to the bathroom.
Man.
So I'm looking at her. She looks at me. Now, my wife is a big skeptic. She does not believe in this stuff. She don't want to have anything to do with it. As long as I don't bring something home, she's fine, though.
Yeah.
Okay? And she looked at me, and I looked at her, and I said, "Did you just see that?" And she says, "Yes." And I said, "Well, it wasn't Logan." I said, "Because this was about 6 foot tall, and it was a form that walked from his room
Oh,
to the bathrooms. So she looks at me and she says, well, go see who it was.
Did she see it?
Yes,
Okay.
she saw it. She's the one that looked at me. We both saw it out of the corner of our eyes.
Okay.
And she's the one that looked at me first and said, did you just see that?
Okay.
And so she says, well, get up and go see who it is. I said, well, you get up and go see who it is. I said, I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I get up and I walk in there. Nothing's there.
Of course
in
not.
the bathroom. Logan's sound asleep in his room.
Yeah.
So that really got me for the last 2 or 3 days. That's all I thought about. I was like, what could that possibly be? So I decided to do research on the property. And we have found out that there was a mentally challenged young man that lived there. He died. He fell in a well and actually drowned right across the property where we live. And the property I live on is about 7.5 acres, and it used to be an apple orchard and a pear orchard back in the day. Okay. And he actually would walk through that orchard all the time. Well, now my house sits directly on that orchard.
No
So
kidding.
I think
yeah.
that could have been who it was that we saw.
Yeah.
They would see, Logan would be sitting there playing in his room, and all of a sudden just let out a scream, and he said he'd see a person in the window looking at him.
Oh my God.
And I would get out and go around the house, and of course nobody's there. So that was really what got me started with this. As I got older, got more into it, started watching it. Of course, here comes the ghost shows and everything. I never really got into those.
I did.
Well,
I did.
Well, I will say this: the ghost hunters,
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
when they first started out, they had their together.
Yeah.
Okay, they knew exactly what they were doing. If it wasn't haunted, they didn't say it was haunted. They knew exactly what was going on.
They would prove otherwise.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
So I decided to form a team. I decided to form a paranormal team, but I didn't want the type of team to be where we just go in to a cemetery or somewhere like that and just find a ghost and be done with it. I wanted to be different. So I said, well, what's the best way to do it than to just help people with their paranormal problems? We go into homes. I'd say probably a year. Probably 9% of the investigations that I do are residential homes.
Really?
And we go in, whether it's faulty wiring, it could be a number of things. And that's what I feel like makes my group different than anybody else, is we go in with the mindset of helping our clients figure out what's exactly going on in their house, instead of saying, yeah, you got a ghost. See you later.
It's like a mold and water damage service over here.
Yeah,
He's
for
coming to
ghosts.
check
It's
for ghosts.
just the ghost version of it.
That's
Exactly.
genius.
But a lot of people ask us, do you charge? No, we don't charge.
Really?
No.
Man.
No, I have. I've been doing this since 2007,
Okay.
and I've never took a penny from anybody for anything.
I want to go back just a second. We were talking about your 6-year-old son. Now we've all, probably not all of us, but I remember there are children more sensitive to the supernatural than us, just because their minds are so fresh and their minds are so new that they're not dulled down by TV.
I believe they are. The reason why I say that is because as an adult, you can block that out.
Yep.
You can rationalize
You can
it.
rationalize what it is. When a 6-year-old child or 7-year-old or 8-year-old child, they're seeing something interact with them, but they're not rationalize what is that. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that an intelligent entity can feel that also, so they will interact with children. Where you get into the kind of scary part is when that entity is interacting and causing problems
In a harmful
for
way.
the child.
Yeah.
Right. And, I'm not the type of investigator that's going to go in through with a cross saying, get out, demon, and throwing holy water and everything else. When we come across something like that, we try to get answers for them, is who is there causing the problems. And then just tell the clients to basically take your house back. This is your home now.
Right.
Tell them that you're welcome to stay, but if you cause any more problems, you've got to leave. And believe it or not, that's been very successful.
Really?
What percentage of hauntings would you say were the entity was negative? It was a negative energy.
That I've personally done,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 1%.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, because you don't really hear a lot about. I mean, and it kind of goes back, and then there's videos and things like that. I remember there was a video of a lady who lost her mother, and she took her her daughter, which was her mother's granddaughter, to the gravesite, and the child stood on the grave, and just and the child was still like, maybe 2, wasn't even talking, and she was
Still a toddler.
she was smiling and just jabbering to something in front of her. And then she leaned in and closed her eyes and gave, like she was getting a kiss from something that was not there.
Right.
So, that gives me cold chills to talk about that. But that's the thing, it's probably, I was just curious to see how many incidents you've come across where that entity was negative and it was something that needed to be
To be
addressed.
honest with you, I've never really felt like it was negative to begin with. It was actually been 2 cases. They were both, one was in 2008, one was in 2009. And I personally didn't feel like it was a negative energy that was trying to cause problems. I felt like it was more like they were trying to communicate.
And they were frustrated.
And they were frustrated because the clients wasn't responding to what they were saying or trying to do. So if that's the case, they're going to try something different.
Yeah.
And sometimes people may take that as evil or hostile or something to that effect. Both cases, we were able to pretty much settle it. And all we basically did was answer the questions that this entity was trying to get across to them. One was related to the mother. Come to find out it was her daughter.
Really?
And she wasn't technically trying to cause any problems. She was just trying to get her attention to say, look, it's okay, Mom. And that's, it's easy to sit here and talk about it, but when you experience something like that, and these clients that you're interacting with are ready to up and leave their home.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you find out something like that and you present it back to them, it's gratifying for us. That's our payment.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good saying, okay, here's what's going on. Here's how you can interact with them. Here's how you can talk to them. And I still keep up with them today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll call them.
Checking in on them and things.
And make sure everything's okay.
So you talk about entities. Is there different classifications of entities or, different entities that you may come across?
Well, we have 3 that we classify. We classify a residual, and it's kind of like a tape recorder. It plays over and over and over again. It kind of replays like it's stuck.
Like a broken record.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you have benign, which is the one that wants to cause problems, and then you have intelligent. Those are the ones that we deal with.
The intelligence.
Okay. An intelligent haunting is is an entity that's aware of its surroundings. It's aware of who's in the surroundings, and it's aware of the people around it.
So this entity still has a conscience.
That's the one question that I want to find out.
Yeah. And the one question, will we ever find out?
To be honest with you, and that's what kind of irritates me about some of these groups out there.
Mm-hmm.
You go to their Facebook page, and they want to find out the truth. They want to know what the truth is. Well, what is the truth? And how do you know it's the truth when you find it?
Right.
Exactly.
So, I just don't pay attention to stuff like that because as far as I'm concerned, I look at this as a job. My investigators look at it as a job, and that's the way we treat it.
Mm-hmm.
Our payoff is helping our clients. Our payoff is helping the city of Rome and the city of Cave Spring doing their ghost tours.
Yeah.
We raise that money for them, and then they get that money. We don't take any of that money whatsoever. That goes directly to the city. So that's what makes me feel good about the whole thing.
Gotcha.
We've been around long enough now to where people know who we are, and we do a lot of work here in Rome. A lot of work.
Yeah.
So
you talking about these benign entities.
Mm-hmm.
What is the most hair-raising moment you've ever had?
oh God.
Now listen. Now,
maybe just a few.
now,
you
let
know?
me say this now, and depending on what your schedule's like, Brian, we want to bring you back in
That's fine.
once a week during
Okay.
October.
Okay.
Even maybe let past October.
That's fine.
It just depends on your schedule.
I could talk to you all day.
Yeah.
I eat this up.
Oh, do
But
you?
this is what
But
I
yeah,
love.
so we we got a lot to talk about.
That's
man.
right.
I mean, I want to get
That's
into the UFOs. I want to get into
Yeah.
the Bigfoot. I
You're
want to
into
all
the
that.
extraterrestrial as well?
I'm not into the UFOs
Okay,
all
right.
and
Okay.
the Bigfoots.
Right.
I'm more into the
paranormal
ghost,
side
the
of it.
Gotcha.
paranormal
That's
side
perfect.
of
That's
it.
perfect. That's
Uh,
perfect.
But What was he asking me? I was
your hair raising experience.
Yeah,
Well-
9 entities.
me and another investigator. You know where the historical courthouse is, right? Here in Rome?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. You ever been in the basement of
I've
that
not
courthouse?
ever been there.
Okay. Well, Kevin Payne, he's tax commissioner.
Yep.
And he gave us permission to go in and investigate. He was kind of hesitant at first, but he's like, okay, I've had people come to me saying they're hearing stuff, they're seeing stuff.
Yeah.
So we go down to the basement. It was me and another investigator. And there was a light on, kind of like this one. But you could see, it was dark, but you could see if something was moving, you could see it.
Right.
And I'm sitting there talking, and all of a sudden, this black mass forms. Now, this black mass was about 6'8", 6'9", and his shoulders were,
Broad.
I mean, he looked like a wrestler.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. And I'm seeing this, and the investigator beside me is seeing this, and I said, are you seeing this shadow? Well, by the time that got out of my mouth, this shadow come at me. And when I say come at me, he was standing right in front of my face.
Holy cow.
Man.
Okay. Now that's the first time that's ever happened to me. That was
Okay.
back in 2008 or 9.
Yeah.
And I wasn't scared, but I felt like I was being intimidated by this guy. Because it looked like he was trying
sure.
to
Like
intimidate
He
me.
wanted to scare you, yeah.
So I relentlessly said, we're taking a break. I'm getting the hell out of here.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we go up, talk about it and everything. But I'd say that's probably one of them. I've had rock thrown at me.
Really?
Yeah. Rock.
By an entity, a
Yes.
rocker. Man.
Yeah, I asked him to toss the rock. I actually threw the rock and told him to throw it back, and he threw it back.
Man.
And when I say throw it back, it hit me in the shin
In the shin.
and then fell to the ground.
What the heck, man?
I mean, I could tell you stories.
Where's
From-
where's the place you felt like you've been that was the most haunted?
Most
and I mean
haunted?
by building.
I would say the Georgia School for Death in Cave Spring,
Really?
Fannin Hall.
Is that where we went?
We actually, one of the dormitories, I think it was a girls' dorm. We actually had went. We had.
Because I was going to mention that.
We come out to give a quote on the roof over there.
Right, the one that's got the tree growing through it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the girl's dorm behind it.
So
Yeah.
we went in and walked around, and I'm going to tell you that's probably one of the creepiest buildings I've ever been in my entire life. I just felt uneasy. It was weird. We were cracking uneasy jokes about
Right.
Yeah,
Did you go in it?
we
Yeah,
did.
we went
Yes, sir.
inside.
We
yeah.
went inside.
I went up in the attic area.
Right.
Well, we went up into where the actual. I mean, you could fit a Mack truck in there.
Right.
Up
Yeah,
in the
it's
very
huge.
top of that.
Yeah,
thing
it's
and walk
huge.
around.
The ceilings are concrete. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a concrete foundation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we went in there and investigated, and it was creepy, but the Fannin Hall, where City Hall is today in Cave Spring, is by far the most haunted place I've ever
Wow.
been. That's actually
Say that again.
the most haunted place I've ever been.
Yeah.
Fannin Hall in
Fannin
Cedartown.
Hall, yes.
What
I
is
mean,
that?
I mean,
Cave
in
Spring,
Cave
sorry.
Spring. Yeah, the city. It's a city hall now.
Right.
But every time we go in that place, we get something different
Yeah.
because the history there is so long and so rich. You've got the GSD school. That's where it was originally formed. And you
Yeah.
have the Civil War tie-in. That it was a hospital for a battle that took place over in Altoona called Altoona Pass. Well, when they come back, that's where the Confederate soldiers were put. And they said at one time that there were so many soldiers there that they covered where Rollator Park is. Everybody was just thrown out in the middle,
Just
and
dead.
Just bodies.
just everywhere,
Man.
cutting off limbs and just throwing them out the window out of Fannin Hall at the time.
So during that period, and you hear there's we actually worked we did a job in South Rome, and it was, I believe the home was actually it was a what am I trying to say? It was the Confederate soldiers. It was like their fort, and in the backside of it, it's where they would fight off of Myrtle Hill. Not Myrtle. Is it Myrtle Hill? No.
Was it Jackson Hill?
I'm not sure. I'm not
Jackson
sure.
Hill's actually behind the visitor center.
Okay, well, this is right in South Rome. It's right before they built where they built the new school. You know where the church is? The big, I think it's a Methodist church in South Rome.
Right.
Right before you get to It's right across the street from the big hill.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
So
Yeah.
the guy that lived there was telling us that they actually will find small piles of rat poison in their shoes, or in the corner of a living room, or in a hallway. They don't have rat poison in their house, but
Right.
it shows up in stuff like that. So they have. So maybe I could hook you guys up and
Oh,
you
yeah.
could get in
I'd
there.
love to
But
do that.
but I think that they also use that for a hospital as well.
Right.
It was used for a hospital as well.
Well,
So
a lot of the homes and the buildings were actually used in Rome as hospitals.
okay.
Rome at that time, Rome and Calhoun, this whole area was basically where they sent all the wounded
Okay.
Yeah.
from these battles.
Speaking of Civil War, have you ever? And I'm getting off out of
No,
Rome
no,
for a
no.
minute, but have you done anything at Chickamauga?
I have asked to do something. We always get permission wherever
Sure.
we
Of
go.
course, yeah.
Okay. I have asked to do Chickamauga, but this has been years ago. And the guy that was in charge, he was a park ranger. He told me that he would do it, and we could stay as long as we wanted to. We couldn't set cameras up. We could use our digital recorders and anything else, but we could not set any cameras. We could not record anything. So I agreed to that. He come back 2 days later with an email, shot me an email saying that he was going to charge me $75 an hour
Oh wow.
to investigate. And I'm like, no,
Oh, man.
no, I'm not paying you to stay with me like a babysitter.
Right.
Yeah.
$75 an hour.
Yeah,
Well, what?
because that was supposedly one of the bloodiest wars in the
Yeah.
Civil War. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I bet it would be something if you could
Oh.
get that pass.
Well, the problem we're having now is people's actually sneaking in and investigating. They actually have to have people going around that park almost all the time at nighttime because there's investigators. There's people that's doing this.
Sneaking in,
And they're sneaking in.
trespassing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a major road that runs right through the middle.
Right.
And they
You
built
know.
they built the bypass around that battlefield now, but it's
Right.
still a road
It's
running
still
right
there.
through it.
Yeah.
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 So whether it's a building or a battleground, an open field that you're going to investigate, what equipment are you and your crew taking with you? Like EMF readers, any of that?
Right. We have what we call K2 meters.
Okay.
And basically what a K2 meter is it reads EMF, which
Okay.
is electromagnetic field. And just about all your electronics emits that field. What the theory behind it is when an entity is getting ready to communicate or interact with you, they emit that field when they try to gain that energy.
Okay.
Okay? That's the theory. That's not proven.
Right. Yeah.
Okay?
All this is theoretical.
Right. There's not a scientist in the world that's going to touch this. And that's kind of what the problem is
Yeah.
they just won't touch
Yeah,
it.
and
So,
science steps away from the supernatural
Exactly.
because it's not a
yeah. So we have to
yeah.
come
It's not
up
exact.
yeah.
Right. So we have to come up with theories on what
You got to make sense of it.
exactly.
Yeah.
But we use K2 meters, digital recorders, thermal imaging camera. I have a 16-channel DVR system that I set up cameras with in the locations. Oh Lord, night vision cameras.
Yeah.
I have and all that's bought out of pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not from doing anything with
Right,
this. It's
yeah.
all paid out of pocket. The thermal imaging camera, the guy that bought it actually just got it paid off a couple months ago.
Oh
So-
my god.
Now I know.
I could imagine that
What is-
wasn't
what
that
is-
wasn't cheap.
What is something like that? I mean, I know when we do roof inspections, I use a drone on something that we can't get on. It's just kind of unsafe. But now those drones are coming equipped with thermal imaging cameras, so we can detect moisture underneath flat roofs and things
Right.
like that. And they're super expensive. I can't even imagine how much does something like that cost you guys to get? Do you have an idea?
What, the thermal imaging camera?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, and it's not the one that records. This one just takes
It
pictures.
just takes just takes
and
shots.
This
stills.
thing was almost $6,000.
Holy
Jeez,
yeah.
man.
There's some they're so expensive.
I mean,
They really are.
and like I said, now the ones that record
Mm-hmm.
and the big ones that you can, the mobile ones that record
Right.
and do all the fancy stuff, you're talking $15,000-$20,000 for these things.
Holy cow!
I mean, they're expensive.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm not paying
I
that.
got you.
No
I-
kidding.
hey, I love this, but I ain't paying
I know.
$20,000.
I know.
Well, you're not. You're doing it for free anyway. I mean,
Right.
so it's you don't have an income to do that. It's just
Exactly.
straight out of pocket. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can. I want to go back to the South Rome house. My mother actually, when she was a little girl.
Ooh, ghost stories.
Yeah.
I got a good one.
So they lived at where the house I was describing.
Mm-hmm.
They actually lived across the street up the hill, and there was a Jewish cemetery up there on the hill behind their house. There's an old Jewish cemetery there. And my mom, I forgot how old she was, but she one day she always fixed her doll's hair and put their clothes on, and she would make her bed, and she would arrange them on the bed.
Right.
Okay, there would be it set up. And she went into the living room or the kitchen, and she fixed her a sandwich, and she came back in, and all the doll's hair was messed up. All the clothes were taken off of them, and somebody had been in the middle of the bed, playing in the middle of the bed. So she thought her sister did it. So she goes in and she's like, telling on her, Diane, got on my bed and messed up the dolls and this, that, and other. And my mom's sister did not get on the bed and play with the dolls. She was not even anywhere near the bedroom when that happened.
Like
and
the sheets were dented in?
Yeah,
Okay.
there was somebody on the bed playing with the dolls. So another instance, my mom had told me that my grandfather worked third shift, and my grandmother had jet black hair. She's big, got a lot of Cherokee in her, so jet black hair. And my mom said that sometimes she would be uneasy when she was asleep, and she would ask her mom to come lay down with her. Well, she was the youngest, so my grandmother would come in there and get in the bed with her, and they would go to sleep together, because I'm sure my grandmother probably didn't want to sleep by herself either. The house was creepy. And so one night she said she felt super restless, and she rolled over, and my grandmother was in the bed with her, but she had her back to her. She's asleep, had her back to her, so she knew she was in the bed with her, so she closed her eyes and went to sleep. So she got up the next morning and went to eat breakfast, and she told my grandmother, she's like, Mother, I'm glad you got in the bed with me last night, because I was scared. And she said, Teresa, what are you talking about? She said, you got in the bed with me last night. She's like, no, honey, I slept in my bed last night. I didn't get in the bed with you. So something slept in the bed with her, They had this other thing. It was and they could always hear voices out back behind the house. There was no access to their house in the back. You would literally have to go to, you'd have to come up the front of the house down the walkway to be in the backyard. But they could always hear somebody talking in the back, and they always thought it was from the graveyard.
Right.
So they always thought it was from. So my mom, when she was younger, she experienced those things, and she used to tell those things to me when I was little. Oh, and the house had bars on the windows, which was another thing.
Yeah.
So, but she scared the complete shit out of me when I was a kid. She would tell me those things, and I'd be terrified. So,
Have you ever had an experience?
I will tell you, and I think you remember me telling you this too. I was going through a period of my life where I just had a lot of stuff going on, and I was probably doing a lot of things I wasn't supposed to be doing. And I felt like I would be sitting in a room and it would be quiet, and I would just be thinking to myself. But I always catch out of the corner of my eye, like a shadow followed me.
Right.
And when it would let itself be seen, but when I would turn to look at it, it would go away.
Right.
Where I couldn't see it. And so many times, it happened a lot, I was like, and I've never been on drugs. I've never done drugs. But just
you should.
Just so I know, right?
They're fun as shit.
Just so people would say, he's probably on drugs. But no, I just had a lot of inner things that I was dealing with. But yeah, I felt like I had this black shadow that followed me around. And I remember my dad was building a house. My mom and dad were building a house, and I was out there, and we were putting in the cabinets in the house. And I don't know, we just were talking, and I was like, man, let me tell you this crazy, I feel like this black shadow's been following me around, And my dad, he's like, he is the poster child for somebody that does not believe in anything.
Right. The realist.
Realist. Like, he don't believe it.
Textbook.
Nothing. And he just kind of laughs to himself, and he keeps on working. And then I was like, yeah, you got something to say it. What do you got to say? And he said, the other day I was outside, and I was on the porch, and he said, I looked up. He said, and there was a black shadow on the corner of the house, like a gargoyle looking at me.
Huh.
And when I fully looked at it, it slithered off the house and was gone.
Wow.
And I was like, holy shit, that's the same thing that's been happening to me all this time. But once I acknowledged it, I never dealt with it again.
Right.
Like, I don't know what if it's my subconscious or I was going through things, but for me to tell that story to my dad, who is not, he's like whatever. You
He
think
kind of backed you up.
he saw something similar
Right.
to what I saw, and we both were like, we had our oh shit moment with it.
Right.
You know, it was kind of crazy. And another time I had something. My great uncle lived across the street from me, so every day I would get out of school, I'd either go to my grandparents or I'd go over to my great aunt and uncles. He would come home from work, and I would sit down and eat dinner with him. He'd sit at, they had a little bar at their house, and I was pretty close to him, and he got cancer and he passed away. And I was sad. He was probably the first real death I had growing up. He was the first close person that ever died to me.
Right.
I remember laying in my bed, and he had passed away. He was gone. And I remember laying in my bed, and something hit my foot. And they lived across the street from us. And so I opened my eyes, and I could only see his upper torso. Couldn't see his legs. It was foggy, like fog around him.
Yeah.
And he told me that everything was going to be okay, and that he loved me, and that he would see me soon, and not to worry.
Wow.
And I remember those distinct words. I mean, it rang true. Like
Wow.
punch you right in the chest.
And that's what's kind of odd, you know. Until you have an experience, it changes the way you look at it.
Yeah. I mean, I totally believe that those things happen. And I actually, the next day, now we lived in a house that didn't have air conditioning when I was a kid. You know, we had a fan in the window in the summertime, and it was hot. It was in the summertime. And I remember my mom came in the room, and I was like, well, I think Uncle Marvin came to see me last night. And she was like, really, you think so? And I was like, yeah, I think so. And she said, why you say that? And I said, well, and then I told her the story that I told you. And my room got ice cold. Like, you know, when you open up when you're delivering beer back in the day, a long time ago, when you go in the cooler and you feel that blast after a hot day,
Right.
That was in my bedroom. And my mom's eyes got really big, and she said, did you feel that? I was like, yeah, it got real cold in here.
Oh my god!
But you know, so I've had some kind of interesting things that's happened to me.
Right.
Is temperatures a big thing y'all check when you're going on these hunts?
Yeah, we do. We have thermal thermometers that we use.
Right.
And you know what the odd thing about that is when you're in a room that has no power.
Yeah.
You know, you're in one of these old buildings that has no power, no AC, no fan, no nothing.
And then it gets
then
just
your
hot or
temperature-
cold. Yeah.
The temperature starts dropping anywhere from 10, 15, 20 degrees in a matter of
Seconds. Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah, like,
You know,
what does it? You know.
the first thing I start looking for is a draft,
Yeah.
but there's no draft.
But if you're in a closed environment,
Yeah. And you know, that's one of the theories behind that is they're drawing that energy.
Oh yeah.
it's got to come from somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, speaking of which, you know, we were in a location, and it was middle of summer, and supposedly there was children there. Well, not supposedly, there is children there. And I was it was GSD. We was up in the third floor, and it was me and another guy, and we had brought his son along with us. Now, his son at the time, I think, was 12. And we're all in our shorts, and I'm just burning up, man. I'm just like, it's so hot up here because it was on the third floor. You know how heat rises.
Right.
You couldn't breathe, nothing. You know, no windows, no anything. So I'm sitting there, and I'm standing in the corner, and I'm like, okay. I said, if there's any kids here, I heard you kids love to play with the adults in this building. I said, come play with me now. You can do whatever you want to. I don't care. Just let me know you're here. And it wasn't 5 seconds after that, I felt a hand grab around my ankle.
Holy crap.
No
Now,
thanks.
now it's pitch dark.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. The only thing we got is flashlights. That's it. Okay, and this happens in the dark. You want to talk about somebody that jumped about 3 feet up in the air?
Ugh.
Now his 12-year-old boy's standing there, and I start cussing like a sailor,
I don't blame you.
and his mouth just drops. You know, I got the flashlight on, and I'm looking. You know, and I look over at the kid, and he's just like, he said, I didn't know you talked like that.
Well, you let it go grab me on the ankle. And all
I
this
said,
stuff.
and I said, you know what's so wild about that? He said, what's that? I said, your daddy's worse than I am. So,
Oh, my
you know, that really got my attention.
I'd be like, do y'all smell that? Because I'm standing in it.
I'm telling you. I mean, you know, I want, you know, I kind of look at it this way, and I tell my investigators this too. If you don't want them to do it, don't ask.
Yeah.
I said, because if you're asking, you're opening yourself up to them
Yeah.
to interact with you and to touch you or push you or scratch you or whatever. I've had investigators push downstairs before.
No way.
You know, just leaving an EVP session and just be pushed down the
Jeez.
stairs. And
You think I could get my ex-wife to come on one of y'all's things the next time? Like some really steep steps.
Sure.
That a ghost could quote unquote show her.
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll take her to
You will not push her down a step.
I dare you
We'll
to.
take her to the deepest dark basement that I know of and say, okay, you got to stay here by yourself.
Yeah.
And then we'll leave. See how that works out.
Let's see how that works. Let's see if I can arrange that.
Yeah. Drew's talking about, I bet you won't push her down the steps.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I bet you won't do it.
I bet you won't do it.
Man.
God.
I can't say that I've ever had an experience at all.
You haven't?
Man.
I don't think I've ever had an experience. I don't think that I have. I mean, not one that stands out.
You would know. You would know.
Because I'm going to
Which
tell you.
makes me a bit of a skeptic.
And that's what, and that's the one thing.
And it will.
I love the
until it
stories.
happens.
I love the stories, and it interests
Right.
me. And I'm not saying it's not real. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm a bit of a skeptic.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with skepticism at all.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I'm glad you said that, because when we go on these investigations, especially a residential investigation, we have to kind of have the same mindset
Yeah.
of being a skeptic.
Man,
Sure,
we
you
got-
do. Yeah.
And because I've always said, if you go into a location wanting to find a ghost, guess what you're going to do? You're going to find a ghost.
Yeah, you're going to.
So you have to
You're gonna
clear your
manifest
mind,
it.
right? You
Yeah.
have to clear your mind and enter that location with skepticism, and that way, when something does happen, you've got to go to where that happened, and you got to try to figure it out.
Because most likely it's probably not, right?
Exactly.
So what
I would say probably 90% of the cases that we go to, we're able to debunk everything in
Yeah,
there.
that's right. Yeah, that's what I figured. I figured it was probably around 9.
I'm going to tell you, and this is true for me. I mean, I've had a broad imagination my entire life as a kid, and if you put me in a dark room, I can make myself. My mind will make me believe
Yeah,
there's
man.
something in
And
there
I
with
think
me.
You'll
that's
start
what-
to see stuff.
And I
You
think
can
that's a
make
lot of
yourself
what it
see
is.
stuff.
And I think maybe sometimes there's dreams that we think's reality and things like that.
Right.
And that's where my skeptic mind goes when we talk about things and I hear stories. I'm thinking, yeah, well, he could have been this, or it could have been that, and maybe this happened just right.
You say that, and I say that too. But like you said, until you see it, you're not going to believe it.
Right. But the mind is a powerful, powerful thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and it can manipulate you into seeing stuff. It can do a lot of things, and I'm not saying that I'm a professional on how to control my mind, but I've been doing it long enough to where I
You
know
got a
what
good
I'm
conscience.
looking. Right, I know
Yeah.
what I'm looking for. I know how to approach it, and it helps. Experience is everything, and like I said, we've been doing it since 2007.
Yeah.
When we first started this, I was as green as the day was long, and to me, everything was a ghost. Everything was this. Everything was
Yeah.
that. But the more I got into it, the more I started studying up on it and how to approach it and how to do this and how to do that. It got easier for me, and it really got me to the point to where now I go to a location, I'm not scared of anything that's going to affect me.
Yeah.
I just know how to approach it now, and it's all this right here. It's
Right.
the way you enter the way you enter it is all mental. It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way you got to approach it.
An experience that I had. I'm very by the books. If science can't prove it, I usually don't believe it. You
Right.
know, it's just how I am. But I wake up one morning, and I remember it being very cold that morning in the particular house we were living in at the time. And I'm waking up to get ready for school, dressing myself, running to the bathroom. I walk down the hall out of my bedroom to the kitchen to fix me a glass of water that morning. And as I'm walking back, the temperature drops. It's just freezing cold, and I'm walking down this long hallway, and I hear on the sheetrock walls like a scratching, and it's getting louder and louder, and it's going, no, and it's chasing me down the hall, and it's getting louder and louder until I shut my door, and it stops. It all just stops, and like my heart's racing.
What house was this?
Wax Road.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where at Wax Road?
It was in Aragon.
Yeah, because I've done a couple homes in Wax.
I'm not
Wax
sure.
Road. And Wax Road is a familiar
Yeah, I'm not.
road to me.
I can't remember. I can't remember the address, but okay. So wow, really?
That's real, yeah. And like Andrew says, he don't believe it.
I didn't say that.
Well, you never experienced it. So until you experience it.
I just say I'm
Yeah.
Skeptical. And I'm skeptical because obviously science can't prove the paranormal. But I know after that experience, something's there.
That's crazy.
There's
And I
something
tell
out
you
there.
what I would love to do.
And I the only logical thing I can come up with is maybe I was still in a dream state. Maybe I'd not awoken fully yet.
Right.
And that's what I try to talk it down, tell myself.
That's where I go with it.
Yeah, and that's where I want to go with it. But at the same time, there was something there. I know it. Like, I felt it. There was something with me in the room.
Maybe me as a Christian, I think that maybe they're spirits,
Yeah.
but I think there's a difference between a spirit and a ghost.
I don't know.
What do you think about that?
I feel that whatever was with me that day was benign, and
Okay.
it
They
was
had no
trying to-
good intentions.
No,
Right.
and I got away from it. I
Well,
don't know.
that's an interesting thing you say, because a lot of times whenever we do the ghost tours and stuff like that, we always have people ask us about, our religion and our faith and everything else. And I'm just like, I believe in God just like you do.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you that I'm an evil person, because that's one of the misconceptions about what we do. That we're evil. That what we're doing is evil.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, because we don't use Ouija boards. We don't.
You don't.
No.
You don't.
No. We don't. If people could just go with us and see how we do things and watch how we do it,
Yeah.
they get a perfect understanding for that, of
So-
the way we approach things. And I would love to take you guys on an investigation.
Oh my
with
God,
us.
I would love to come
do
with.
that.
Just as I don't think Andrew would be interested.
No,
in it.
he'll go. No,
No, I
would
would
do
go.
it. Yeah, he totally
just,
would go.
just to be able to take you, so you get the experience of the way we do things and the way we approach things.
No,
Yeah.
Don't take me wrong. I'm not saying this is all BS. I'm not saying that at all.
Right.
I'm just saying I've never experienced it. I've loved the stories. I love all of this,
It's just one of those things you got to see, man.
but I've never had an experience.
Right.
Well, let me ask you a question.
So how can I be all in if I've never seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah. You're
That's true.
So you're going
So
about
that's where I'm
things-
at.
Right.
When you're doing your investigations, you're going about it the most scientific way possible.
Yeah, we
Right.
can.
Yeah.
Right.
You said you don't do Ouija boards. Do you think that's just child's play?
I
or-
think Ouija boards is a bunch of crap.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. That's my next question.
All right.
100%.
I think Sage is a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
You think, okay. So all
Yeah,
that, the witch doctor voodoo stuff,
yeah.
you're not into that.
Yeah. Here's the way I look at it. Okay.
Okay.
Using a Ouija board.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I hate about these new shows that are out now, because everything's, number one, associated with evil.
And
All
it's
the evil demons.
it's staged
You
for
know how
TV
easy
and-
it is to take a Ouija board
and
and
move
start
it.
moving that Ouija board with your fingers? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got people out there that believe it.
Yeah. I don't
They believe it.
I know.
Okay, so we take that out. We take burning sage out. I've
Right.
never seen it happen. If somebody could prove to me that burning sage works to get rid of a spirit, I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Do you think that you can can you conjure up something evil and it stay with you? Do you think that's possible?
Does it attach itself to
Right.
Like an antique.
Well,
No,
it-
what
it
is
was
that?
a-
There's a term for that. What is it called? The spirit attaches itself to you, or
it's,
Possession?
I mean,
Well,
no,
it's-
there's a
it's-
name for the
right,
entity,
it's
right?
right. It's not a possession. A possession is somebody actually enters your body, and
Right.
takes over your body
Yeah.
and everything else, which I've never seen before
Yeah.
either. But anyways,
I saw Poltergeist.
yeah,
God dang
what was the movie with the Linda
Exorcist.
Blair? And yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a grudge?
Which I can
is that
say-
what it is?
Oh, that's what I meant.
Listen,
That's what I meant.
something-
You
Yeah.
can go to the Cedartown movie theater this Friday. They're showing The Exorcist.
That's what I meant. I didn't mean Poltergeist. I meant
And
Exorcist.
I might be all in on that. So that's on the movie that actually scared the
But-
Jesus out of me.
Too bad we don't have Jamie to pull that up.
But
Yeah.
it's just we get asked that all the time. How it's just frustrating that people want to compare you to.
What's on TV?
Yes,
I got you.
and it's just it's a persona that we're trying to get rid of, because like I said, I've never encountered anything that is evil.
Yeah.
Okay, I just haven't. Now, I'm not saying that it's possible that it could be out there, but until I experience it, because I'm one of those I have to see it to believe it type of guys.
Yeah.
You know, I can't speak on it.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know,
And
and
that's
that's
where
why I
I-
understand
that's where I
what
was.
you're saying.
Yeah, I mean,
You know.
I'm not calling anybody.
Right.
I'm not calling any BS. I
Right.
love the
No.
stories. I love talking about it. I just haven't seen it.
And it's not fair for me to sit here and tell Andrew that just because you've got to believe this because it's happened to me.
Yeah.
Well, it hasn't happened to him, so I could be, you know, who are you? It hasn't happened to me, so
Yeah.
I don't know if I should, believe anything you're telling me.
Yeah.
You
I would
know?
love to see it.
Right. But how would you react if you
Yeah.
did?
I don't know if
I don't know. Well, I mean, it depends what I see.
Right. Right.
If I saw a figure walking by like you did, the first thing I would do is try to figure out, okay, what shadow did I just see? What caused that shadow?
Right.
If something I felt grabbed a hold of me,
Right,
that would
like
be
happened to
different.
me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that would be different.
Man, that's
But if the temperature changes,
heavy.
I think I could probably explain that
You
too.
can explain that away.
There's a lot of things I think I could explain. Now, I would love to go, like you just said.
Yeah.
You know, you said you're not sure I would want to go. I would love to go.
yeah. We need to do that. We need to.
I'm
set
okay
that
with
up.
that. I mean, I would love to go, and I'm not going to be, oh, this is bullshit. That's not who I am.
right.
No, you're going there to learn. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about it.
Right.
And I hope I see something.
Right.
But I just haven't.
Yeah. And I understand that. You know, I've had a guy, we did a ghost tour here a few weeks ago, and he was pretty much just bullshitting everything I was saying and everything else. And I was like, sir, I finally just had to shut him up and say, sir, you can believe whatever you want to.
Just keep it to yourself.
I'm here to do a job for the people that do want to hear what I have to say.
Right. Yeah.
And if you don't like it, you're the one that's paid the money. You're not going to get a refund. You can leave.
Yeah, right.
But don't,
Why are you here?
Right. Exactly. If you don't believe in all this stuff, why are you walking on this tour?
Exactly. It's like people want to trash on music.
Oh, I went on.
Right.
I
You
went
don't
on a
like
ghost tour. I went on a
Don't
ghost
listen to
tour
it.
in Key West one time, and it was the best because I've been on to them. I've been on ghost tours in Savannah. Been on ghost tours in several different places like that, but the one in Key West. If you're ever in Key West, whoever's listening to this podcast, go on the ghost tour. It is amazing. The stories it's historical, so a lot of stuff they're telling you is true. Like the theater that burnt down, and there's children trapped inside, and there's still and there's that's a true historical event that happened there.
Yeah.
And then there's ghost stories around that. Now, whether you believe the ghost stories or not is up to you, but the ghost tour itself is amazing. And I still, even though I don't know if I 100% I'm not all in, it's still I love to hear the stories.
It's interesting to you.
Right.
And that's kind of the way we approach it too, is the way we do these ghost tours is we're also a history-based group too. We do a ton of research. I've probably got one of the best researchers on partial tour, but she can find out anything about any building that there is.
See, I'm all about that now. I'm all about the history about it.
And the way we do these ghost tours every year, we do the Haunted on Broad ghost tour. We do first weekend, second weekend, then we do Cave Spring towards the end. And we go in and actually investigate the locations that we're going to be on the ghost tour on. If we catch anything, we share it. If we don't, we tell people about our experience.
Right.
If we don't have any evidence to present them, we don't give it. We don't show it.
You're not just making some.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we do every year, and it is a very big draw. I mean, the city of Rome, they just started the Haunted on Broad tours last year, restarted them up because they used to do them a long time ago.
Okay.
And the city of Rome actually requested they wanted us to be on these tours,
That's too cool.
and so we kind of
Is that where y'all go under Broad?
underground.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
actually,
I've yet to do that. I hear
that's
people talk
pretty neat.
about it.
That's pretty.
I
neat.
did
I want
that.
to experience that.
Well, we're actually under the History Museum
Okay.
downtown.
Yeah.
We're on the backside. We're under the History
Okay.
Museum down there.
We just went to a wedding over there.
Oh, did you?
Up in the loft, yes.
Yeah, well, the downstairs in the basement's really, really creepy.
Oh, yeah.
The morgue's down there.
I've done
Oh,
the
really?
Under Broad tour. That wasn't the ghost tour though, was it?
No,
was
no,
that?
it was more
no,
like
no.
a historical tour.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
There's a whole like
Another level.
yeah, I mean there's a whole another world underneath Broad Street on
the
Georgia.
people
There's a
don't even know exists.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
a transit system under there. I mean there's roads and it's
Yeah, it had
I
to be
gotta go
built
look
up.
at that. I want to look at that one day.
But we've
It had to be built
done the courthouse. We've done a history museum. We've done the Chieftains Museum, Carnegie Building over there, the City Auditorium, the DeSoto Theater.
What about Barry?
Barry's kind of finicky.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
They just, you have to know somebody to get into Barry. We've tried.
Have
but
you
they
ever,
just won't.
I imagine Barry, there would be some Indian, maybe Indian entities or something of like Native American heritage?
That's a good question. Yeah.
I feel like that would be cool.
So,
because most of the ghosts that you encounter, would you say that they're soldiers, used to be soldiers in their lifetime, or
Family
Depends on
members, I bet.
it depends on
your
what
location?
Yeah, it depends on what location you're in.
Gotcha.
That's why we always do research the property before we go in, because we want to kind of know what we're dealing with before we go in there.
I've never really heard too many stories about Native American hauntings, just because they believe so heavily in the spirit world. They move on.
Right.
They don't really stick around.
Right.
So I mean, maybe it's just my ignorance, but do you know of any areas where it's heavily haunted with Native Americans?
Cave Spring was a Native American area.
Okay.
They did have the Creek and the Cherokee Indian there.
Okay.
We've done that area a ton, and I've never experienced anything.
That could be why.
Now, in the cave, it's kind of different. Well, I take that back. In the cave, there was a report of hearing drums.
Oh, that's too cool.
Like Native American drums.
Some tribal music.
Yeah. So we go in there, right? And we got permission. It was like pulling teeth trying to get in there, but we finally got permission to go into this
That's so
cave.
weird, because you can just pay to go in.
Right. But they won't let you stay
But you can't
overnight.
bring equipment.
That's so weird.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there, and it is literally about 3 o'clock in the morning, okay? And I'm getting ready to wrap it up.
The devil's hour, so people
there's not
say.
too much happening. And all of a sudden, we start hearing these freaking drums.
No way.
Really?
And I'm looking around, and I'm like, are you guys hearing that? My first thought is it's the water.
Yeah.
Because you can hear the water when it's rolling through there. But this was different. This was more like a doom, 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 like that.
It had a rhythm to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the investigator, and I said, are you hearing this shit?
Yeah.
And he says, yeah. I said, what does it sound like to you? He says, it sounds like freaking drums. Of course, he used the other F-bomb.
Yeah.
So
and I'm like,
you told yourself that it was just water.
right.
But then instantly you say water couldn't be dripping in that rhythm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm instantly going into debunk mode. I'm trying to figure out what could it be, a plane flying over? What could it be? So I radio outside. And
Your
I'm like,
Andrew kicked in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I radio outside. And I'm like, is there a plane? Is there a car? Is anything flying over? No, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Cave Spring dies at 9.
Oh yeah. There's nothing going on.
There's nothing going on in Cave Spring at 9 o'clock. More or less 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And it was just the craziest thing I'd ever experienced. So luckily I had a recorder going. Did a recorder.
Yeah.
So I get home. I couldn't wait. I couldn't even sleep. I was so excited. So I'm driving home, and I live in Adairsville. So that Adairsville to Cave Spring is about a 45-minute drive.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Well, I made it in 30 minutes because I wanted to get home, and I didn't get home, 4:15 in the morning. Wife sleep, everybody sleep. Here I am downloading a digital recorder trying to figure out.
All hyped up.
So I get in there and I'm listening, didn't catch it on the recorder.
You serious?
And it was so loud, but the recorder didn't catch it.
No way.
Man.
And that's another thing that I'm kind of thinking, how is that happening? That I can hear it with my ears, but a
didn't
digital
pick it
recorder that catches voices that I can't hear didn't catch these.
And
drums.
it couldn't have been a car. It couldn't have been a car.
No,
radio.
it wasn't.
Those
a car
of you who
radio,
haven't
no.
been to the Cave Spring caves, I mean, you're pretty deep in there.
Yeah,
You're not going to hear anything
and we
from
were
the
in
outside.
that area.
Yeah.
When you go in, it opens up to a big room.
Yeah.
And then you got the door over there where they say you can't go in.
Yep.
Well, you can actually go down in another part of it.
I've been
on
down
the,
there.
on the other side.
It's small.
Yeah.
I've been in there.
You practically have to crawl
But then
through.
I
it-
was like,
but then it
don't
opens
go.
up again.
Don't go in there.
He was
He
like,
went
do
in.
not go in there. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm going.
Yeah. And then it
Yeah.
opens up into a smaller room.
It does.
But it's there. Well, we were in the big room.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever been upstairs, but there's
I have.
stairs that go up. If you go all the way to the top of that, and this is the coolest thing I always loved when I'd go in there. You go up to the very top, there's like another room. It's not quite as big, but if you squeeze up in there, there's names of the students from 1901,
Really?
1915.
Oh, cool. I didn't know
And
that.
it's still there.
See, I'm too
cool.
claustrophobic to climb up into those tight crannies and
Not
stuff.
me, Jack. If I can get through it, I'm going.
Story about
Yep.
the Cave Spring caves, the stalactites that hang down from the staircase.
Yeah.
Right.
I forgot about that.
Dude was climbing up, and like punctured his head.
He spiked him right in the head.
Spiked him in the
He bled all
and
the
he's
way
bleeding
down.
down the staircase.
Jeez.
Are you there?
Yeah, we were there. It was-
I looked. I watched the guy running off. Oh, my bad. I watched the guy running off, holding his head, and I didn't know at first. But I'm making my way back down, and it's just a puddle of blood, and it's running down the staircase.
Yeah, he's like dripping all over the place. It's
Dude.
crazy.
man, crazy.
Well, I do have an EVP if you guys want to hear it.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
man, I would love to hear
please.
that.
Yes.
I don't know where we're at time. I really
No,
don't.
no,
I really
we're good.
Hey,
No,
look,
no,
I
let's
don't
hear
care if you don't care. Okay.
No, I don't care.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
we can go as long as you want.
Let's
Let's
do
hear
it.
it.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
let me set this up a little bit, okay?
Well, while
This-
you're setting that up, I got a question.
okay.
So, I was reading something the other day, and I get on these rabbit holes, and I get all this, whatever. I go down all it's either conspiracy theories or something. I go down rabbit holes. Just because I go down the rabbit hole, don't necessarily believe it or whatever. But I just enjoy reading it. I read a thing about cats, and a lot of people believe that they see spirits.
Yes, that's a great question.
It's just not cats; it's dogs too.
yeah,
Yeah.
animals sensitive to it.
So you believe dogs do too?
I've seen a dog react to a spirit.
I literally just had this conversation with Brittany today. She sent
So
us.
did I. Yeah.
We think that our cat feeds on our sadness. Like
They do.
Like when we're sad, like if one of us in the house is having a bad day, that cat goes to us and lays on our chest.
No, I believe that.
It is the most bizarre
Well, a
thing.
dog would do that also.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
But you
man.
believe that they actually physically see the spirits.
I have seen a dog in a location outside actually focus on an area. And we did an EVP session, which is electronic voice phenomena. And we actually caught a voice when I asked, "Can you see the dog?" Because the dog sees you. And you hear a voice say, "Yes, I see the dog."
Holy cow.
Really? Is that what you've got?
So
on? Is that what
No,
you've
no, this one's
okay.
better than that.
Okay,
Oh,
all right.
God dang.
So
That's
I can
good already, though.
I can tell you right now that cats and dogs, especially cats and dogs, they have what they call the sixth sense.
Right.
Okay, and they can react to seeing things that we can't. They can react. That's why a dog. That's why you got a whistle. When you blow that whistle, you can't hear that whistle. That dog can hear that whistle.
Yeah.
He's got a higher frequency than you than what you're
So
hearing.
they're picking up something
So they're
we
picking
can't.
that up. And see, that's the way a digital recorder works also. A digital recorder runs on a higher frequency than what our ears can hear.
Right.
Okay? So that's why a lot of people use those EVPs, the digital recorders, to catch those voices. Well, a dog and a cat reacts the same way.
Yeah.
You can blow a dog whistle. You don't hear that, but the dog does.
And
It's because that frequency is higher.
yeah, I really like that you said that because that can be backed by science.
Exactly.
That's logical.
Right.
That makes sense.
Right.
To my ears.
and that's I can without a doubt tell you that they can experience, see, and hear things that we can't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
Because
tell you wrong.
I've had it. I've seen it happen.
Same here.
So
Now the thing that we have about I was talking about the cats. There's a little story, and I'll post that to our Facebook page so you guys can read that about the cats. It's pretty eerie and
For all you
interesting.
cat haters
For
out
you-
there.
For you cat
Well,
haters,
you take a prime example of when you do feel bad or you're not happy. What's the first thing a dog or a cat does? They
'Cause it
sense
lays on
that.
you.
They
Before-
react to that.
Before
react
anyone
to it.
asks you, "Are you feeling okay?"
Right.
The animal's there,
They're there.
and that's
Yeah.
weird.
And that's that sixth sense. They can feel that. They can react to that. They sense that. That's senses that we have,
But
but
we
it's
just
not
can't.
as intense as it is for a canine or a cat.
unless you're Andrew's dog, and he hopes that Andrew gets hit by a truck while he's rolling.
That's not my dog. I want to make that clear. That is not my dog.
he's like, Andrew, you son of a bitch.
I don't like him. He didn't like me. But
I
that's
guess-
not my dog.
That's like my mom's dog. Sorry,
Yeah.
mom.
I don't put off a high enough frequency to love my grandmother's dog.
No, me neither. Me neither.
Well, this dog he's a good little dog, but he's dumb as shit.
I was like-
it just drives me crazy
I was
that
like-
anything can be as stupid as him.
Dad, is there any bald eagles around the house? Can we let the dogs go outside and use a bathroom?
He's just so dumb.
So y'all want to hear this
Yes,
EVP
let's do
real
it.
quick?
Yeah,
okay,
man,
okay.
absolutely.
Let me set this up. You know where Jackson Hill is, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Jackson Hill used to be a Civil War fort.
Okay.
It was a Confederate fort. Okay.
For those that don't know where Jackson Hill is,
Yeah, where
It is-
yeah,
it
where
is-
is
you know where the visitor center is?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, it's right behind the visitor center.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
In Rome, Georgia.
but I will say this much: do not get caught up there, because if they catch you, they will throw you in jail.
Oh, wow. I didn't know
Not that I know that, because
Oh,
I've
right.
always had permission.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Wasn't there a softball field up there at one time?
It's a baseball field, the duck pond. That's where we used to go play baseball, or my dad played
Yeah,
softball at
yeah.
the duck pond.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you go even higher up, there's the old water plant or
That's right.
something. Used
The
to
water
be up
treatment
there.
plant was up there.
It's,
Yeah, it used to be up there.
So
It's not
again,
there now.
disclaimer: do not go up there without permission.
Yes, because if they catch you, they will
Throw you in the
slammer.
So
Yeah.
why? What is it?
Just trespassing.
It's trespassing. That's
government
city property. Yeah. Yeah. We have to have permission every
What's
time
up
we
there?
go up there. There's nothing basically up there. They just don't want anybody.
There's
back there
ghosts.
doing
Yeah,
stuff.
there's apparently there's freaking ghosts.
Well,
in there.
you know where the cannons are beside the visitor center.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, there's 2 replica cannons there. Okay, now this was the first time we'd been there, and we are actually simulating a firing of this cannon. Okay, and the way I'm doing this, you're going to hear on here is I'm saying Sergeant Alberts or Albertson. The Yankees are advancing on our position.
Yeah.
Do we have permission to fire, sir? And you're going to hear a voice come through, okay?
So you're reciting it just like it would have been
As if it was
in a battle
at that time in a
situation.
battle.
Exactly. And you're
So
going
there's
to
a lot
hear-
that goes into this.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a whole lot that goes in. Let me see if I can find it. Hang on one second. Yeah, here it is. Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah, go right ahead.
How close do I need to get?
Just
here?
angle your speakers right up against the mic.
Right here.
You see the logo that's facing you on the mic.
Yes.
That's the very front of it, and that's where it picks up the best.
And I'm going to turn
sound.
your mic all the way up too. So,
Okay.
Okay, ready?
You ready? And I'll play it again if you want to hear it.
Go ahead.
Sergeant Albert, sir, we are loading the cannon. Cannon is loaded. Do we have permission to fire, sir?
Fire.
You hear the fire?
Yeah, one more time.
Sergeant Albert, sir, we are loading the cannon. Cannon is loaded. Do we have permission to fire, sir?
Yeah, you can hear it plain as day.
So nobody said fire.
No,
That was quick.
that was somebody reacting to what we were doing. Because, like I said, we were acting like we was loading a cannon up. You could hear that. You could hear us in there messing with the
Yeah.
cannon and everything else.
So is that a microphone just like we have on our desk, or is there?
No, that was caught off the digital recorder.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And I'll play it again. I'll just think it's
Sergeant
cool.
Albert, sir, we are loading the cannon. Cannon is loaded. Do we have permission to fire, sir?
Fire. Immediately.
Fire. You can hear it.
It's
plain
an
as day.
aggressive, like,
Yeah,
you
he's
know,
like,
fire.
yeah,
He's
shoot
ready.
that thing, son.
Yeah.
Well, when I caught that, I was just like, I called up the investigator. I said, you guys are not going to believe
Yeah,
what we
that's
just caught.
awesome.
How long does it take you to find some evidence like that?
Sometimes we go
concrete,
well,
clear as
you-
day.
Sometimes, we classify the EVPs. You have
Okay.
a Class A, which is like this. You hear the fire, or you hear it.
Yeah,
You can understand what they're saying.
it's
You have a-
totally audible.
right.
Yeah,
We have what we call a Class B, which is you're hearing what it might sound like, but you're not really sure that
Okay.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
And then you have a Class C, which is just muttering.
yeah.
Cannot understand what they're saying. You know there's a voice there. You know there may be 2 syllables there,
But you
3
definitely
syllables,
don't know what they're saying.
but you don't know what they're
I
saying.
gotcha.
A Class A EVP is very rare. I have probably 20 or 30 of them, but considering I've been doing this since 2007,
Mhm.
that's not a lot
Yeah.
for a Class A. We have more of the Class B type,
Okay.
where you think you know what they're saying, but you're not sure.
Okay.
But there's a response
There's a
to what
response
you're doing.
there.
I gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was that was interesting. That's another where we saw a shadow, like a Confederate soldier walking back and forth up on the top. You ever been?
Well, look, here's another place in Rome. I don't know if you've ever been. What about Sumo? Have you ever been to Sumo?
Well, actually, Sumo's that sits on top of the another fort.
Yes. Yeah. And
Yeah,
I've heard, now back in the day when I used to party with the chicks from Barry.
Thursday nights
Thursday
at
nights at
Sumo.
Sumo.
None of
What's
these
up?
stories you're about to tell are
No, I'm
valid.
not telling any more of
It's
these.
not valid.
But literally,
Ghost encounters.
there was a person that worked there at Sumo, and actually they had seen there was a Confederate soldier that would walk up and down that staircase from
Right.
the restaurant up to the bar upstairs. He was always on the stairs.
Right.
So you said that was a fort up
It,
there.
it was a fort and a hospital too, wasn't it? Or
What-
was it
which
just a
one?
Where
Tampa
Sumo's
Bay
is.
Sumo.
That was a fort and a makeshift hospital.
Yes,
up
yes,
there.
yes.
Is there any remains of that fort up there?
No.
No.
Now the trench work's still there. You can go. I know in Jackson Hill, you can still see the trench work from where they went from level to level
Yeah.
to level all the way to
And
the top.
that's what Trace's parents, their house, they had the trench work behind their house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah,
Man, I wish I would have known to look for that.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
and there's all kinds of trench work back in Cave Spring, back behind Rollator Park, back all over there.
Yeah.
There's trench work all in there where people, the Confederates dug trenches.
So that's just another piece of the puzzle
Yeah.
to validate everything
Right.
you're doing.
Yep. And we got kind of a mystery down there because it's just, we've been investigating down there probably, 7 or 8 years.
Okay.
And we're trying to piece together what the city of Cave Spring wants us to do is try and tie in the history of the city with some of the residents that live there.
Okay.
Okay. Now that goes all the way back before the Civil War. That's very difficult to do.
Probably because a lot of that got destroyed.
Right. So we have to kind of start with research, of course, right before the Civil War started, and then go through the Civil War, through the Creek and Cherokee Indians. It's a long process. Okay. We did catch a name and a location down there, and it's still an open investigation. We found out that he was what they call a prominent slave in Cave Spring that helped build the building that we call DVP in.
Oh,
Really?
And he actually died on the property.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And a prominent slave back in those days was somebody who was kind of in charge. He kind of helped the slave owners. Slave owners paid them,
Yeah.
and they kind of built, made sure the stuff was getting done. That's
Gotcha.
what they considered a prominent slave.
So they would call it an Uncle Tom, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
And this guy gave us his name, his full name. So I immediately give that name to my researcher, and it's a Class A. You can hear it clear as a bell. And she comes back and she says, this guy was he was a big deal in Cave Spring.
Mm-hmm.
And told us what he was in charge of building.
So
and
his
what he
name is
built.
known.
It was back then, yes. Well, the people that's over the city and stuff, they had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
And we presented that evidence to them, and we gave them all the documentation and everything else. Said, here you go. It's your evidence. You guys, you can have it and do what you want to with it. So they incorporated that in with the tours now.
Did he die of natural causes?
No, he was actually murdered.
Oh, okay.
Really?
All
Yes.
right. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And we've kind of found out, I'm telling you, Rob, once you get me started,
No,
brother.
dude, you're fine. You're fine. No, look.
No.
Look, I there's so much more I want to dig into, but I do, just because I know we're going to get you on 3 more times this month.
You're good with that?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
fine.
And there's
with
a
it.
topic I want to hit on,
Yeah.
and it's burning a hole in my brain,
So
but I'm going to
save
save
that,
it.
save
Oh
that.
my gosh, I cannot wait.
But what we want to do, we want to go ahead. We just want to. We're gonna cut it right here.
Okay.
Because what you're talking about now, I would love to get more into that the next time too.
Okay.
What I am gonna do. What we're gonna get into right now, sir.
Uh-oh.
If I can remember how to do it correctly. All right, ready?
It's about that time.
All right. 10 random questions. We're gonna ask you 10 random questions. 10 random questions.
Just one answer?
You can do a yes or a no. You can
Okay.
go into great detail. If you don't want to answer,
You answer
can,
however you want to answer it.
you have
Okay.
one mulligan with a no comment. Use
Okay.
that wisely. Okay? All right. So here we go. Scariest movie you've ever seen.
Friday 13th.
Okay.
It's fair.
Exorcist for me.
Not really, but. Exorcist
Killer
for-
Clowns from Outer Space for me.
That's it.
What what is the best vampire movie you ever seen? Lost Boys, Bram Stoker's Dracula, or Twilight?
Lost Boys, man.
Yeah, God,
Great
that's
movie.
such a great one.
That was a great movie.
What's scarier, being in a room full of ghosts, a room full of meth heads, or a room full of zombies?
Meth heads.
Yeah.
By far.
Room full of 3 guys doing a podcast.
What's
Especially if they're like naked
naked
freaking
meth
meth
heads?
heads.
Yeah, that's
that's
Yeah.
terrifying.
that ups the ante for sure.
Speaking of, nah, I'm just naked meth head stories.
retreat.
I'm joking.
What is something you do that you enjoy that others may think is odd?
I guess investigate the paranormal.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
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 Good. What's the stupidest thing you've ever done on a dare?
On a dare? No comment.
There's the mulligan.
There's the mulligan. All right.
There's the mulligan.
God dang it! Nobody wants to answer that question. Where's your favorite place to hunt?
Favorite place to hunt? I would probably say the city of Rome.
Okay.
Because I got so many in the city of Rome, I just have to pick the whole city.
There's a lot of history there.
I would probably say also Fannin Hall.
Okay.
Where?
Fannin Hall.
Okay.
in Cave Spring.
Okay. Yeah.
What's your take on clowns?
Clowns, they're creepy. I don't want to have anything to do with them. I've never seen his movie that Tyler keeps talking about. Probably never going to see that movie.
Come on, man. You
No,
gotta check it out.
I'm not a clown guy. I mean, if I was to go in a room full of clowns on a ghost hunt or a paranormal investigation, I would freaking leave.
Now-
Because I would look at the client and say sorry.
I will say that was probably an '80s horror movie, so there's probably a good chance you're going to see some boobies in that.
Probably.
So that might be done. No, well, definitely. If there's no boobies, I'm out. What are you terribly good at? What's something you're terribly good at?
Hunting ghosts.
Okay. All right.
It.
When you're hunting ghosts, what's your jam? What's your favorite song? What's your go-to?
Oh man, a lot of people say Ghostbusters, but that's not no. I love to listen to Sammy Hagar's "I Can't Drive 55."
Yes.
When I'm going down towards Cave Spring or Rome, I will put that bad boy in. Either that or Pink Floyd, "The Wall." I can listen to that all day long too.
Okay.
But that's my jam, brother.
All right.
I love Sammy Hagar.
Yes, I love Sammy.
Me too.
All right. If you had to drink a beer with one of these guys, who would it be? Clint Eastwood, Charles Bronson, or John Wayne?
Clint Eastwood,
Clint Eastwood.
by far.
I like it.
All right. You have survived 10 random questions.
Very
so-
good. Bonus question. I got one
All
more.
right. Bonus question,
All
Tyler.
right.
You got a paranormal experience happening in your home. Who are you going to call?
You don't call SPI crew. Southern
That's right.
Paranormal
That's right,
Investigators.
baby.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
You're going to call SPI.
Hey, pimp your
Yeah, tell
Talk
us
about your
the
tour.
Yeah,
Talk
talk
about
about your
your tour.
tour.
Well,
Paranormal investigator.
the last Haunted on Broad tour is actually tomorrow night and Friday night.
Okay.
That's sold out.
Okay.
Okay. But you can go to the Cave Spring Ghost Tour page
Okay.
or the Cave Spring Historical Society page, and the tickets down there are not sold out as of yet. I talked to the guy that's in charge of all that. He said they're getting pretty close.
Okay.
That is the 24th and 25th, which I think is a Friday and Saturday night.
Okay.
This month.
Rome,
Yeah,
Georgia.
next month. No.
Sucks for you. Wait till next year. We gotta wait till
sold
next
out.
year.
That's fantastic.
Sold
You have
out.
to
It's
pimp
great.
it. One other thing before we go. So let's say I have a haunting. How do I get in touch with you?
You can go to my Facebook page, or you can go. My Facebook page is actually Southern Paranormal Investigators or spicrew.com.
SPI.
Yep.
We'll get
Or
those
SPI
links up.
Crew. Yep.
We'll get the links up for
Sweet.
you.
And that's the best way to get in contact with me. Just private message me
Okay.
and leave a number or whatever, and I will. I'm also the case manager of the group too,
Okay.
so I will definitely get back in contact
Okay.
with you.
And we'll have the links up for you as well.
Yeah, we'll get
So-
those links together.
So we can still book for Cave Spring.
Yes.
yeah, Cave
Yep.
Springs
I'm
still
going to
open.
talk some buddies up, and
Okay.
I think
do
that's
it,
going to be
man.
a great
Okay.
time.
And I'm actually going to. I will be. Me and my general manager will
Okay.
probably be at the Fannin Hall
Okay,
stop.
cool.
There's
And that's your favorite place, right?
yes.
We'll be there.
Yes, there's 6 or 7 stops in the tour.
Okay.
Okay. And what we do is we place each investigator that's on a team, and they tell you about the experiences that we've had in the investigations. If we have evidence, we'll show it. If we don't have any evidence, we don't show it.
Okay.
But we will talk about the investigation. Stuff
Sweet.
Like that. So,
All right. Good
Okay.
deal. Well, and again, I want to get with you and hook up and us actually go through one of these things and just see what happens.
Yes,
I
please,
love,
Oh, yeah.
man.
I'd love to
I
have that
would love it.
experience,
Let's
and
do
then
it.
we'll come back and talk about it.
Yeah.
But again, we'll be thinking about some other stuff to ask you next week when you get you back in here. So thank you so much for your time.
problem, guys.
I
Much
really do
appreciated,
appreciate it.
brother.
Yes, sir.
And I look forward to the next time.
All right.
All right. Good
Good
deal.
deal.
Everybody, make sure you go to our website. It's www.cigarstoreidiot.com. We're working at the kinks where you can order merchandise. If you go to our Facebook page, send me an instant message on Messenger, shirt sizes, what you want. You can Venmo the money to us until we get all that worked out. So just be patient. We're working on it.
Okay.
All right. Thank
What you got, Andrew?
That's it. I'm good.
All right.
All right. Tyler,
I'm
what
good.
else?
Stay safe, everybody. It's spooky season.
All right. We out like a trout. I'll see y'all later.
Awesome.